Otis P Oliver Protests. Written by Keri Claiborne Boyle. Illustrated by Daniel Duncan. Otis P. Oliver refused to take a bath. If it were up to him, baths would be strictly prohibited. However, when you have an oldest big sister, a middle big sister, and a youngest big sister, your opinions tend to be equal to that of the family dog. It's worth mentioning that the dog only gets one bath a month. Otis gets 4 baths a week, especially when he is excessively grubby. And since worm farms aren't going to build themselves, Otis is usually excessively grubby. Now, every time he came near, his family held their noses. This means Otis's anti-bath stance would likely result in a tense family standoff. To avoid the tub, he'd need to be taken seriously, but being taken seriously required a more serious look. He'd also need backup, so Otis rounded up his neighborhood pals and delivered a fiery speech. We must unite, fight the establishment, demand bath time rights. The only thing we have to fear is soap itself. Then they marched all the way up Snickerdoodle Street, attracting attention as they went. Next, Otis led the unruly crowd to picket the driveway. Finally, the crew plopped down in Otis's front yard, refusing to move until certain demands were met. After some time, the front door opened and Otis's oldest big sister stomped across the yard and thrust a note at him. My dearest Otis, what is this all about? Love, Mom. He turned the note over and scratched out a quick response. No more baths. Love, Otis. P.S. What's for dinner? I don't like mystery meatloaf. He handed it to his sister, who snorted and stomped back into the house. 5 minutes later, his middle big sister came out and, with a hand on one hip and a loud sigh, dropped a second note in Otis's lap. Sweetheart, why don't you want to take a bath? Love, Mom. P.S. Don't worry, it's lasagna night. Otis scribbled another reply. Because my jammies always stick to my skin after a bath, and then they get all twisted when I try to put my arms and legs through. Love, Otis. P.S. Garlic bread too? 5 minutes after that, the door opened yet again, and out skipped his tutu-wearing youngest big sister, who performed a quick pirouette before handing Otis another note. Oh dear, that is a problem. What if jammies were optional from now on? You can always just wear your birthday suit. All my love, Mom. P.S. Of course there's garlic bread. Otis mulled over his mom's response. Then he huddled with his closest supporters to discuss the offer. Finally, he jotted down his answer. Okay, fine. Love, Otis. P.S. Dessert, right? He handed it to his sister, who twirled away. But then, as Otis stood up, thanked his fellow protesters, and sent them on their way, the dog padded out with a slobbery note in her mouth. Otis grabbed it. My little grub worm. So glad we reached a compromise. Now get in the tub before you're grounded for life. Hugs and kisses, Mom. P.S. No dessert on school nights. Otis headed inside, ready to hop in the tub. Maybe he'd leave a little smudge somewhere, just for old time's sake. But first, there was one last thing he needed to do. Dear Mom, happy to announce I'll take a bath, but no soap. Maybe if there was dessert tonight, I'd consider a compromise. Much love, Otis. P.S. Ice cream, preferably chocolate.